Some of our worst fears being in our 50s and 60s, well, it's over the loss of a job, especially if we are in a market where things happen and change often, like technology. And also, we're at the top, hopefully, of our salary. And there's a lot of folks below us competing for the same jobs, and they're probably willing to work for less. So, throw in some offshoring folks as well, and man, there's even more competition. Hi, I'm Rick Higgins. This is Mastering Life After 50, 60 Plus, the podcast. Now, I remember I was laid off from WorldCom back in the early 2000s, right in the middle of the dot-com bubble. And here I was, I'm in my 40s, and there are no jobs to be had. Not in my profession, not anywhere. So I personally know what it's like to be sitting on a financial time bomb, waiting for either someone to come along and cut the red wire, or for everything just to blow the you-know-what up. Now, according to MarketWatch, there was a semi-recent study by the Urban Institute and ProPublica, and they found that over half of the workers over the age of 50 will at some point just be jettisoned right from their jobs, just outright fired. Or they're going to be forced to resign. And did you know that only 10% are ever going to be compensated again at the levels that they had before they got pushed out of their job? So what do you do? Well, let's start with what you don't. Well, don't consider this time as a vacation. Yeah, I know you got laid off. Yeah, I know maybe you got severance, but that only lasts so long, if you even received it. At most, take a week off. At most. But optimally, you really need to consider finding a job as a job in itself, and you just started this morning. So yeah, like any new job, you got to put in a little extra hours. You got to work hard at it. And finding a job is actually harder than having a job. So no vacation, no time off. You don't get to go spend 4 weeks in Bora Bora while thinking that, magically someone's going to hear that you're out of work and offer you a job while you're gone. You also need to take stock of your emotional state. Now, this is important. When I lost my job, it took just about a year before I was gainfully employed again. And I slipped into a serious depression. I pulled away from everybody. I became a recluse. And it's a slow transition. Have you ever heard that old adage about you put a frog in a pot of water and you just slowly turn up the heat and it has no idea that it's being boiled alive? Same thing with this. If you have an extended unemployment, you're not going to realize what your mental state is doing. So realize it now. Understand who you are and where you may go. So stay connected with your friends, stay connected with family. Don't be afraid to use them for support. And for God's sakes, don't go hide in your basement randomly sending out resumes every now and then, just kind of figuring that the world is going to crap right on top of your head. You will get depressed. It's probably normal. It happened to me. I went into a real serious funk. So understand what your emotional state is and where it may be. So, what's next? Well, you got to polish that old resume or CV or whatever you want to call it. Post them out on the job boards. Use LinkedIn and network the living hell out of everybody. And I mean everybody. This isn't the time to look impervious. This isn't the time to look like you don't need a job. This is the time to go hunt for that job. Use everybody, everything, every means at your disposal to find it. And do it with vigor and do it with grace. I'm not saying go beg and plead, but there is honor in looking for work. So use that honor. And here's the thought. Maybe you can explore other possibilities right now. How married are you to your current lifestyle? Can your budgets be altered? Mine was, and they probably should be altered again. And, for me personally, I'm currently contemplating a self-job loss, which will absolutely change my income and budget needs. So is up the only way? Is acquiring more things, more salary, more stuff the only thing that we should do? And what the hell is up anyway? Is up monetary, or is there value in other things? I mean, yeah, sure, we all want more, but does it have to be trips? Does it have to be bank accounts? I mean, what can we have more of that is more of other things? Isn't a job loss, a job change, isn't that an opportunity to discover and pursue a new passion, for instance? Well, assuming, of course, that you weren't just fired from your passion job. But regardless of that, are there opportunities for self-employment in your current or desired profession? Can you do consulting instead of just being an employee? And don't discount part-time work, by the way. That might lead to grander things, or hell, it might even help cover your expenses while you're leading up to, something else. Also think about, are there opportunities with other people? If your layoff involved several folks, is there strength in numbers? Can you put yourself together to, set yourself up as a team, to start your own business, to start even some kind of effort where you help each other to find a job, competition, something? Always realize that there are always other people in your situation, and two people sometimes work better than one. Now, while we're back on the what not to do, when I was laid off, I did every single thing wrong. I had pride. I refused to look at anything other than where I deserved to be. I was a mid-level technology manager, damn it, and that's where I was going to stay. Someone was going to hire me. It wasn't my fault that there was a great recession and that WorldCom had Bernie Ebbers and everything just crappy happened. You know what happened? I lasted almost a year for that with my pride and with not being able to find a job. Eventually I did. It was 100 miles away and in a completely different field. I was a project manager. It had nothing to do with IT really. And so I spent 4 hours each day commuting to a job to work 8. And by that time, I was pretty damn happy to do it. I was also finally aware then that IT management was not my calling. It was what I was doing. It was where I thought I belonged. I thought I should be climbing that ladder to, executive level next. But I took the time to figure out what it was that I wanted to do. And I also used that time to bolster up my defenses in case of another job loss. And indeed, that did happen because I was working as a consultant, and the company I was working for let us all go for 3 months before they hired us back. So right on top of a job loss trying to rebuild, I got to take a 3-month vacation or start the whole job searching process over. I should have done a whole lot of this while I was job searching. And that's kind of another thing to think of. While you're spending all of your time, your full-time work, trying to find a new job, you should also have a part-time job in there figuring out contingency plans. What happens after you get the job? Because a lot of people think that the end game is just to become employed. Well, there's no guarantees. And it's scary. It is absolutely terrifying to lose your job at 40, at 50, at whatever age. But the older you get and the more people are relying on you, the more set in stone your budget and lifestyle is, it will bring out the absolute worst in you. But it's also going to bring out the absolute best. And as the glass is half empty as this might sound, perhaps now might be the time to start pre-planning that whole what if. Yep, sure, most of us, maybe some of us, whatever the statistical number is of us, are probably going to be able to stay gainfully employed. But what happens if? So, yeah, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Karma's not going to come knocking at your door because you dared to think about what if. But wouldn't now be a great time to kind of do some planning? I know I am. So thanks for listening again to Mastering Life After 50, 60 Plus, the podcast. Do listen to our other offerings, if you will. Go to our YouTube channel. Actually, if you just go to rickhiggins.com, you're going to find all kinds of fun things for us people in our 50s and 60s, us boomers and Gen Xers. Out there on the site, you're going to find a couple books that are free. You're going to find more videos, more podcasts. You're going to find it all about life coaching, which, by the way, is my fallback profession and the one that I am aiming for. Anybody need a life coach? Give me a line. And with that, I wish you health, I wish you wealth, I wish you happiness, and we will talk to you really soon.